Good afternoon. Welcome into our home. I've asked Jane to join me as I've a few things I'd like to share with the community and make sure you're aware of what's going on behind the scenes. Perhaps like a fly on the wall, the city is organized as part of the nation, its emergency response system, through NIMS, the National Incident Management System. When an emergency occurs, as is occurring at the current time with the virus that we're battling and the recent earthquake that we had, anytime that there is an emergency, there is a set protocol by the city on how the city is to be managed. The city manager becomes the emergency manager for all services and everything within the city, taking away the responsibility for management at all levels, from elected officials to those who are, by their educational process, more prepared to manage critical causes. So our city manager, Mr. Brody Bavero, is our emergency operations manager, and we have been meeting regularly as a city with this group of people who are representatives of senior staff within the city to help prepare the city for the outcomes and for protection against those things that are placed before us. For example, it may seem a little self-serving for the city manager to be concerned about the well-being of city employees. Understand that city employees provide the major services that we all enjoy, particularly public service. Our police and fire department, if they're out sick, can't protect us. And so we have instituted within this management protocol ways and means where we can protect city employees from being cross-contaminated with the community out there and then lessen their ability to serve us, particularly as it relates to the public service, the public safety that's involved. Now, I'm not going to go deeply into what the city is doing. I just test to you and witness to you as that fly on the wall that they are well prepared and we are well managed. I have a few requests of the population of the city, if you wouldn't mind listening for a moment. The eyes and ears of all city residents are important to us at this point in time. We would ask that you look to your neighbors on either side, front and back, and from time to time, if you would call or text your neighbors to check on their well-being. We don't want you to go visiting. We don't want cross-contamination between homes, but we would like you to check on one another. Another thing we would ask you to do is, if you can do city business online rather than come into the city offices, it would be preferred. That way there is no cross-contamination of what we have in our homes with city employees or city employees with what you have in your home. We would also ask you, as you go shopping, not to hoard. When we hoard or buy more than we are going to need for the next few days, it places an extra burden upon those who supply us in the city, Smith's, Walmart, and others, and they can't keep their shelves full because of hoarding. Those materials need to be out in the community where they can serve the community the best. Now, perhaps something of the nature of what Syracuse is to me that might help you understand. As a little boy, I used to go across the street from my home to the Barnes Canning Company, which was the ghost of what it had been in the past. During the 30s and the 40s, it had been a booming business, canning all kinds of things, but their prize product was tomatoes. And behind that canning factory, as a boy, I found crate after crate of tomatoes, old tomato boxes that were all kinds of fun to a boy growing up. They were my Lego set. But one of my favorite things to do was to take those crates and go underneath a shade tree, put one over my head in one direction and one over it in the other direction, and just smell the essence of vine-ripened tomatoes that over the years, because those crates had held that precious fruit, the essence of that fruit had become impermeated within the wooded materials of those crates. And I would lay there and dream about tomatoes that would come in the fall. I'm driven by that same longing today. In April and May, either by seed or by capped plants, I plant tomatoes with the longing in mind, knowing for sure that if I plant, care, and cultivate, that I will have tomatoes in August and September. But those old crates were a way of preserving for me that longing, or for something that I so enjoyed in August and September. You, all of you of the city of Syracuse, live in crates. But the crates aren't the most important thing. Our homes, our schools, even our own community centers, those things that are important to us are not the prime prize of Syracuse. They are only the essence of Syracuse. They contain that essence. It is the fruit that's contained within those crates. Those are our homes where you live. We ask you to abide by the counsel of the governor, by the president, and not gather in large groups. One soul lost to this viral infection in the city of Syracuse would be a horrible loss. We don't want to see that happen. We'd ask you not to gather in big quantities of people. We'd ask you also to not take the risk. The risk is not as great as, the reward is not as great as the risk will be if someone becomes infected. How we love you, and from our crate to yours, we want to help preserve the essence, which is its people, the goodness of our people. We will rise above this. I know we will. And I know that we have the strength to help one another through this particular time of turmoil. And I know the peace will return. God bless you. Jane?
Just know that we love you. We love the city of Syracuse, and we want our best for you. Thank you.
God bless you, and we pray for your safety.
Ain't nothing in the world that I like better than bacon and lettuce and homegrown tomatoes. Up in the morning and out in the garden, get your ripe ones, don't get a hard one. Plant them in the spring, eat them in the summer. All winter without them's a culinary bummer. I forgot all about the sweating and the digging every time I go out and pick me a biggin'. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.